Welcome everyone to the second episode of Living with a Thought for this week. Last time I spoke about legacy. This week I promised to speak about black business. Now, what is black business? It's business, it's an idea started establishing an organization so that you can generate money, but the business is owned by black people, right? So, the, a couple of weeks ago, when I was going through my Facebook, somebody spoke about supporting black business, and I went through the comments, read the threads of comments to see what was the feedback. And almost every one of them spoke about how they will never support black business again because black business disappointed them, be it they delivered late, or the service was poor, or the product was overpriced, or all this stuff. And I was so shocked, amazed, and disgusted at the fact that people took their personal, individual experience from one service provider and painted the entire idea of supporting black business as a terrible thing to do. I find it odd because I don't think any normal person in their mind would go to one shop, right? And then as you pick up food from the shelf, it is expired, and then automatically assume that all the shop right across South Africa or across Africa or wherever they have stores, they sell food that is past is used by dates or sold by dates, or even assume that the entire store is selling expired food. And while I'm saying that, I'm cognizant of the fact that we're having problems in South Africa with vendors that sell expired food, but still my point is valid. What I'm saying is that you cannot paint the entire spectrum of black business as terrible simply just because one service provider gave you a terrible service. And here's the other thing, something for you to chew. Where do you think all these established businesses, when they started, where do you think, how do you think they were conducting their business or running their business when they started? Do you think they had a complaints department, a quality department, innovation department? Obviously not. So they had to start from somewhere. So meaning you could have bought a car from BMW when you started. Your car might have driven maybe 150 kilometers stuck. Somebody else's car might have driven 1,000 kilometers and then it broke down. But it did not mean that the business needed to be shut down. It just simply meant that there were still flaws in the entire business or in the organization that needed fixing. And as a result, we as people cannot stop supporting black business simply because of one service provider. Because what will tend to happen is that we put up all these excuses for not supporting black business, then black businesses will never grow. If black businesses do not grow, then we can never shift or change the situation that we find ourselves in, which in South Africa is that the majority of the people do not have market share in the economy, while the people who are the minority in South Africa own the majority of the economy. We cannot change that if we do not support our own, because for as long as black people have been able to buy and consume, we've been consuming other people's stuff. The cars we drive, the clothes we wear, you name it, the cell phone we use, we just seem to give all this money away. We are the business, but we seem to be so happy to give this business away because we want something that's established. And by the way, even with those things that are established, you can still buy a phone from Samsung today or iPhone, and it can give you a problem within a week, or it can freeze or whatever. Then you have to take it back. That's why they have all this warranty. What do you think it's warranties for? If they don't have warranty and guarantee, if they believed so much in their product that their product was immune to defects or to any malware or whatever it is, they would have simply do away with warranty and guarantee. Uh, on a client's mind, you thinking warranty and guarantee is to tell you that the product will last you, definitely last you for this long. But from a business point of view, it's done so that it gives you enough time to return the product if it does not work or if you're not satisfied, so that the business could fix it or they could refund you. That way they stay in business. Because imagine in a case where you are buying a 500,000 car, something happens to it, it breaks down within the first week and you're still paying for it. Do you understand how difficult it is for you to go back and still support that brand, or even go buy a car after that if you still have to pay 500,000 rand for a car that you do not have? So the reason for warranty and guarantees and all those things is so that you as a customer can feel it is knowing that you can buy it, and if something does happen, the business can still fix it and you won't have to worry because it's still within the guarantee of the warranty specified period, whatever item you bought. Now, I don't want to deviate too much on the subject. Back to the top point I'm making is that if we do not support black business will not grow. If black business could not grow, then black business will not employ our people, then black people will not participate in the economy on a business scale. Black people will not be able to change the poverty that, the generation of poverty that, has long since lived from, since apartheid or, whenever period, So if we do not support black business will not grow. And as a result, we'll never change the status quo. We'll find ourselves still graduating from school, going to white companies, asking them and begging them to give us jobs, and then we'll still complain about being paid less, compared to our white counterparts. We'll still complain about, not being given the opportunities. We'll still complain about our businesses not growing when we start them, simply because we are not one as people. And here's the thing. You see, I get worked up when I speak about this. I think sometimes also it's not just about the birth service that the black business offer. It's also because as black people we have this thing that my brother's success is somehow a reflection of my failure. You can't support a black business because tomorrow they will stand on you, they will buy a BMW. You worried about that tomorrow they'll be successful, they buy a bigger house, they wear better clothes than you, they'll send their kids to better school. And you don't see the bigger picture that if you support that business may be able to absorb your kid into employment. So you might be able to place your kid for employment purposes in the future, because that business could grow from a spaza shop, it could go into a store, and then it can grow into a chain of stores across South Africa, and your kid might have to work there one day. Now you fail to see that. The only thing you just see is that if I support him, no, he or she's going to become too full of themselves, which is ridiculous. Because if you look in terms of the amount of money that we generate as black people for businesses, the amount of things we consume, because we are a consuming race as it stands now, you realize that we are the business. Without us, most businesses will not thrive. So why don't we take the businesses and make it for our people? Because if our people thrive, if our people grow, if our people become established, then we as a people will also become established. It's crazy to me that we seem to think that somebody's going to come out of nowhere from somewhere, and then they will just be fair to us because the world has been so cruel to us, and take us and from the bottom of the drain where we are right now and lift us up and elevate us to better heights. That is not going to happen. We have to save ourselves, because all the other races are one, they save themselves. If you look at the Pakistans, if you look at Indians, if you look at the Islamic community, if you look at white people, the Jewish community, they all stick with each other, and as a result they grow because they are one in numbers. But for some reason, when it comes to us as black people, we are so divided. The divisions amongst us, it's so ridiculous. We can't even begin to support ourselves, or rather go spend more money on somebody whom I don't know, than support somebody I know, simply just because I don't want them living better or doing better. I think that's very ridiculous. If we do not start loving ourselves enough to that point where we say we want to see black businesses grow, and sure, I understand black businesses as they are, they probably have a lot of flaws. Why wouldn't they have a lot of flaws? They just started. Most of them are on startup level. They are trying to make it. So as a result, there's going to be a lot of problems. When Elon Musk started making electric cars, do you know how many cars were returned, how many cars were breaking down? But eventually he got it right. And that's because the people who supported him believed in the concept. They believed in whether it be green energy, going green, saving, the environment, whether it be, because they just love the design of the, whatever, they believed in the idea and they bought those cars. Even though the issues, they returned them to get fixed and they kept on driving them again. As a result, Elon Musk has a well-established market of people who support and buy his product, and that's what we need to do. We need to take the same approach with black businesses, to say, when you see your brother doing something, if you feel they could be better, you can give them pointers and suggestions, but you still need to support, because if you don't support, no matter your advice, your suggestion, they will never grow. Because for them to grow and for them to make the business better, they need money. It takes a lot of money. When you do a startup, there's a lot of money involved that you need to invest, be it the money in time or the physical currency that you need to invest in the business. It takes a lot. And if we don't support and we don't put money back into our black business will never grow. And as a result, we will never get hold of the economy. And if we can't get hold of the economy, we'll complain about the same thing. The year will be 2080, and we will still be complaining about the same thing, that we can't find jobs. Do you know right now that in the private sector, there are companies that budget charges or fines, for them refusing to transform. Yes, like people, JSC listed companies, there's plenty of them that have money put aside every year to pay for penalties for refusing to transform, for refusing to have enough people in the company who happen to be the majority of the people in the country. Just think about that. So those are the same companies that you and I take our hard-earned money, hard-earned peanuts, our hard-earned 1/5 of income compared to a white household that we receive every month, and we take it to those companies, and yet they refuse to transform and employ our people. You and I keep those businesses afloat. You and I keep those businesses running, yet they don't want to be part of the solution of helping South Africa or the majority of the people get placement, and you and I are supporting that. So we are also part of the problem, because we are supporting those businesses. We refuse to support black businesses, and then as a result we complain that we do not get opportunities, our people are not getting employed, and we do not get paid. Stats came out to say black people's household, in a household of black people compared to white people's household, black people are paid, white people's household, in a white household, the income is 5 times that of a black household. In a country where the majority of the people are black, that sounds crazy. So my thing is, support black businesses. They are not perfect, but they could get there if we support them. And one day, we could also live in an economy that's made for us to thrive, that's made for our kids to thrive, and that's made for South Africa to grow and be inclusive. And that's leaving you with a thought for this week. I hope you learned something. Cheers.